Hello, everybody. Making a new video here just to show examples of what was happening within the last couple days or last 2 weeks. There's been some weird things that were happening with guildies and friends where they didn't understand exactly what was happening with their character. So I'm going to do a two-part video here just to show again what you can do and what the strengths are of those specific classes. The first one I'm going to do is Warlock. Again, I am playing on a Wizard 12 favorite soul Warlock 4 uh, character. So it's mostly a Wizzy, Fire Spect, Light Spect, and Force, all three at once. But that's not really what's important. I'm going to open up the enhancement tree is for something that everybody can realize, and I know Casper specifically wanted to see this tree's 28 in Exalt Angel of Vengeance, 41 in Traditionalist Caster Archmage Wiz, 11 over here in Tainted Scholar, and a couple 5 random points or whatever I got over here spent in the gnome tree. Who cares about that right now? The first thing is in the Tainted Scholar Warlock tree, and this is for a specific Warlock that is coming up. Along the bottom, you have the ability, if you did a full Warlock, meaning you took the class all the way to 20, you're getting a plus 30% up here on spell critical damage. It's called Heretical Lore. If you did a straight Warlock all the way to 20, a plus 30% to spell critical damage. Now, the problem is with Warlock is they don't get a lot of spells that are high in their level range, meaning you're not going to get an opportunity to cast level 9 spells as a base out of it. So I'm not really sure why exactly they threw this in here for them. Right, and I'm not going to go talk about why they did or why they didn't. But what I'm saying is on the if you take just 3 levels of Warlock, you're gaining a plus 10 spell critical damage multiplier. If you take just uh, 12 levels of Warlock, you're at a plus 20% spell critical multiplier. So, what I'm saying about this tune and what I'm getting at is there's no other class in the game that gets that innate bonus per level. Um, it's easy with gear to get a high critical chance up on your spell type. Now, I mean, that's simple. You could craft it, you could find it, you could find gear that totally smokes the living shit out of your critical uh, chance range. But there's nothing that multiplies it on top of what you're doing like this class. Now, they did an update on Warlock and they said, well, we're gonna nerf the main damage that comes out of it, but they didn't nerf any of this right here. Taint Scholars, Tainted Scholar stayed the same. So why is that important then? It's because if you look at what the heck am I gonna open up here? If you go look at your end game um, gear, and if you go look at your end game final or whatever from level 20 to 30, you know that you're going to be doing epic and all this other, crazy stuff, probably harder quests than what you used to as a caster. And if you view yourself as a damage dealer, you want to try to get that spell critical multiplier as high as possible. Okay, so I'm not um, all the way into Warlock, which means I'm still uh, about 20 points down from what a full Warlock would do. But I know that I also mixed in a special thing from the wizard. The wizard tree is over here. I'll close down this. And this is called Arcane Supremacy. It's on the 5th tier of the Archmage Wizard Tree. Um, it says that your offensive spells gain a 10% chance to trigger Arcane Supremacy. When Arcane Supremacy goes off, it says you gain a 25% spell critical chance plus 100% spell critical damage for a 12-second duration. This effect may trigger only once every 90 seconds or a minute and a half of spellcasting. So there's no way for the Warlock to go in here and get this if they do full Warlock for the other 30%. This bonus is a very short duration on the Archmage. But what it means is if you're casting all the time, I can push this spell critical multiplier up to around 220 when it goes off. For the rest of the duration, it's probably only at 80. In the end game, it's probably going to be at 110 all the time with Shroud gear. So that's something that I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to explain. You have a short window, and you're never gonna know when Arcane Supremacy goes off from the wizard tree. Like you'll finally see it. Like you're not gonna get to plan it. But that's the range I am in for the highest possible thing that I can do. You know, casting. I don't think that there's very many players in the game that are gonna bank on this. You know, but I know that I've been playing long enough so that I understand when it happens and what to do. You know, don't be casting low level spells when that casts off, or when that uh, procs. You know, that's that's what I'm pushing. It's probably it's probably around 220, and then draconic breath and everything. So in terms of what Casper is asking, he's asking about this tree, the Angel of Vengeance. Okay, and yes, it costs a lot. I spent 28 points there for fire, light, and force damage. And the main reason is this tier right here. It's called Intense Faith. It's your fire, force, and light and physical damage spells are cast at +3 caster level. Caster level increases damage on any spell that you're doing. Anything. Anything. If you're a fire spec warlock, you are going to gain the benefit on your weapon attacks of, or on your blasting attacks from your normal attack in Warlock, you are going to gain a level bonus to those spells. Because technically it is a spell. It also works for more damage with light and physical damage spells. Now, I don't have physical damage spells like Blade Barrier. I don't even have it. I have a light clicky that I got out of here, an SLA, a Sunbolt, right? Like, why wouldn't you not take that? It's so cheap. It's right down here. You can have all the meta magics on it. It's so cheap to cast. Empower, heighten, maximize, quicken. Same thing with all of the spells from the Archmage on the bottom tier. Again, evocation, chain missiles. I get clickies down here that are just super cheap to cast. Doesn't matter what my spell points are. And it's tough to gauge big damage numbers off of Magic Missile because every missile strikes for X amount. It's not one big number like how fire damage is. Yeah, I don't know what the best way to explain that is. Instead of sitting here thinking about or worrying about um, all the DCs and everything, you're just more like when somebody has aggro, start plowing into damage. You can do it with your Warlock basic blasts or basic attack, or you can sit back and do spells. Now, in the spell sheet, I'll just look at the wizard end of it. I've taken everything that is in that thing for fire and force because that's what they do. I mean, wizards do good force damage, right? I took Burning Blood too. Is another one that is just a dot. Like it does fire and acid. If you have to dot something up, the way that you do it. Prismatic Ray I took too, because I know that in terms of fire spell power, there's a chance for that Prismatic Ray to take the highest amount of damage that I can possibly do from whatever elemental type and apply it to that spell. So you don't get the high end. I'm casting as a level 6 base on the wizard side, meaning if I heighten my spells, which I do, um, it means that the flaming bolt is coming in at a level 6 spell, not a level 9 though. I don't have level 9s on this because I mixed classes. I did not go pure wizzy. The favored soul is only for heals in a light clicky. Nimbus of Light, that's slotted down here, but it still counts as a light damage spell for Intense Faith. The rest are heals. Cure moderate wounds on level 2. Who cares? The only reason why I'm taking those 4 levels is to get that Intense Faith up there. And again, it says your fire, force, light, and physical damage spells are cast at +3 level. Doesn't say divine. It doesn't say anything about divine. Means it counts if you're still working as an arcane caster. All right. Last one, Warlock spells. I took the blur from this, the command, featherfall, uh, whatever jump. Who cares? I think I have like 18 jumps now between both the wizard. I should get rid of one of them. Yeah, I have a jump in the wizard too. Is the one that I've been taking. The duration is longer because I have more levels in wizard. Also, of interesting note is Warlock gets a web. Uh, I don't know what level, but it's a level 2 spell for them. So because of the amount of levels and more intelligence, my web from my wizard is higher on the DC. It's only pushing a 48 right now at level 22. But whereas conversely, I still loaded the Warlock web, uh, save 39, so it's around 5 points lower because it's the difference in the levels and more intelligence and charisma. They're both arcane spells. However, charisma is pushing 42, intel is pushing 48, and gear. So that's something to keep track of. Don't overwork your spells. If you do mix, if you do a mix, I mean, on the divine side, it it doesn't even matter what any of those things are. You're just there to raise spellcaster level. So if I just do this in the downstairs, it's gonna give me a warning to not cast. Like it's saying you can't do those spells down in the cargo hold. But on the combat log, it is going to show you a spellcaster level, which is very important. And the first thing that I'll do is the red dragon breath. It's showing red dragon breath at level 39, and this is an unlimited spell, meaning there's no cap on the damage on it. Uh, there's like a lot of spells they'll cut off at level 20 or level 25 or whatever. Um, and meaning there's a cap and a limit on what they are doing. So this is my highest total right now is a level 39 on fire from the draconic tree. I'll try it again. Level 39 for energy burst, level 39, and you can cast the fire aura, level 39 for the energy vortex. Raise that caster level because I don't know, it works. I will cast the magic missile quad thing over here showing magic missile cast at 23. All of these are at 23. Arcane bolts at 23. Arcane blast is at 23. I will cast the SLE clicky for light, and it's just a sun bolt at level 15. Uh, fire spells. You begin to cast Scorching Ray at 29. You cast Fireball at 29. You cast Wall of Fire at 29. You cast Flaming Bolt at 29. You cast Burning Hands at 29. Now, this might all be over the level limit. See how that cap is right there? Why the heck is Dragon Breath at 39? Because it doesn't have a cap. It doesn't have a cap on the spell amount of damage. There's no limit to it. Like, get as high as you can on that. When it says spells from this particular tree are cast 2 times higher than your limit, it means you are raising what the limitations are by DDO, set by DDO for that particular spell. Higher the higher the level, the higher the damage output potential. And I think that's just about it. I think I answered both questions. Didn't want to be sitting here all day showing all this stuff. Um, if you watch the old video, I showed you spell critical multipliers. I didn't mean to override anybody's thing on the XDS page. But what it means with the new the new version of Draconic Epic Destiny is already granting you plus 30. I think it's plus 35 on all spell critical multiplier damages. So uh, it's a huge bonus. You have to do this sort of middle tier to raise that for elemental damage or to increase your chance to be in that range to do that damage. You have to have a dice check requirement for it based on whatever the spell type is, evocation, transmutation or whatever the heck it is, conjuration, you know, uh, to allow that to happen, that bottom number, uh, the only way for it to work is if they f- they fail a save usually. So it's just something to think about. I am I'm pretty much done with the video. I hope I hope everybody understands what's crack-a-lackin'. Like this one guild member that's doing Warlock, I just hope that you understand what the innate bonus is on it, because it's another 20% to that bottom number that I'll never get back. Like, there's no way for me to do that with this current build. So, if I mean, in a perfect world, if you could mix both, I'm talking about a 250 spell critical multiplier for a short period of time. It's huge. If you could mix both, but you can't. I'll probably run 220 with all bonuses. Anyway, see you later, alligators.